What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next I have got an awesome unboxing here. I've got these two boxes, and then those have graded books in them, and then these two packages here that have some raw books in them. So really excited to get into these. There's also a couple books in here that I think you should be looking for. One I've talked about before, one that I haven't. So let's get into these. So before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I've got a bunch of books that I'm going to go through today, a number of books that I've picked up recently, a couple that I think are pretty good to be on the lookout for right now, as well as some pretty cool rare Golden Age books if you want to see those. Now, before I get into those, we keep inching closer and closer to 5,000 subs. This is my giveaway for that. It's a Fantastic Four number 67, 5-0, White Pages copy. I picked up this book raw as part of a collection earlier this year, got it pressed, cleaned, graded, came back 5-0, because I think that this is I thought it was cool that it was from a collection I picked up, but also I think this is a pretty potentially big character in the MCU moving forward. And so I thought this would be a cool book to give away for when I hit 5,000. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so I can give that book away when we hit that mark. I think we have around 230 or so left to go, so we're close, but yeah, gotta subscribe to the channel. All right, so first book that I'm gonna open up here is this one. This is a slab. This is a book that I picked up from Superworld Comics. I've talked about them a number of times, and it was fun. I've talked about how they have their weekly, like, Tuesday night claim sale, and they usually show like a preview maybe about 30 minutes before the claim sale starts. And the problem is you never know when the books that you're interested in are going to come out, because they've got basically a wall that has 48 different slots, and they've put the books behind those slots before the filming starts, and so they open them in order. If you want to see one of them and they haven't gotten to it yet, it's too bad. You just have to wait until they get to that book. And unfortunately, a number of times they'll often put like one of the best books at the end. Best books, usually it's in like slot 13. What is it? Maybe like 21. And then I think the last slot is 48. And then there's other obviously good books throughout the claim sale, but they'll usually put like bigger books in around those slots. And this one ended up being in the very last spot. And it's funny when it came up, because I knew I didn't know the grade of the book, but I was ready to look it up quick when it got there. And so, like I've said, this is a Golden Age book, and I've talked about how you have to be quick if it's certain types of books, especially if you feel like they're priced right. And so when he said the price, I knew it was a pretty reasonable price for this book, and so I claimed it right away. The video is actually pretty funny when the claim happened for this one, because I think like 10 people claimed the book, and it was like, and you can tell the lag that people have on their phones or whatever with their internet, because it was like a minute after it had already been claimed, there were still claims coming through. And so I was just my Verizon Fios, won the day on this one, and I beat everybody to it. And so this is a pretty exciting book to win. I have definitely never had this one before. It pairs well with another book I've talked about recently that I just sent off to CGC to get graded, and off to get pressed and cleaned first, then it'll go to CGC to get graded. And that is Crime Suspense Stories number 20. And this is another one of these, it's a Johnny Craig cover. You can see over here, Johnny Craig cover, used in Sodi. So this was used in The Seduction of the Innocent. So this is one of the things that really ended up driving the Comics Code Authority. This is a book that kind of pairs well with Crime Suspense Stories number 22, which is the decapitation cover. It's just two really violent pre-code horror covers, pretty graphic pre-code horror covers done by Johnny Craig that were used as part of the Senate hearings and all of that. But yeah, a 5.5 is pretty tough for this book. It was actually kind of convenient just to kind of get an idea for pricing. One sold right after I bought this on Heritage Auction for $1,800. And so I think it could probably go for more than that, given how hard it is to get this book up in this type of grade. But yeah, that was still that was a record for the book anyway. But I still think it could do a little better. But tough book to get outside of just like garbage condition. That's true with some of these bigger EC books. EC is definitely known for having some really high grade copies, but certain ones are tough to get outside of really poor condition, and this is definitely one of those. So yeah, cool book to end up picking up. All right, next I'll do this one. So this is 2 raw books. At least I'm pretty sure this is 2 raw books. I have a number of packages that all look exactly the same. So I'm basing that on the weight of this package, and this was the lightest one, and the smallest number of books in one of those that I picked up was 2. So I'm assuming that's what this one is. And this has 1 book in it that I have not ever had before, and another book that I have had another copy of in the past, and so which I have sold, and so I decided to pick up another one. Yeah, so first one, this is the book that I have actually had prior, and I was just a little disappointed in it when I got it. It was worse. It was a worse grade than I was expecting when I had gotten it, and so I sold it. But this one, I'll probably end up selling this one too. I just think it's a cool cover. This is Mystic Comics number 27. And so when you're talking about pre-code horror, I've had a number of people kind of asking about that. And really the way that I like to look at pre-code horror, golden age type books, the sci-fi books is, do I think that cover looks cool? Do I think that that's a cover that's going to grab someone else's attention, other people's attention? And that's one of the things that really helps determine if I'm going to pick something up or not, because there is a lot of golden age out there. There's a lot of pre-code horror, a lot of sci-fi, all this kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of stuff that just isn't worth that much, isn't all that desirable. Yeah, you might be able to sell it, but it might take years, that kind of thing. And so I've kind of learned over time what type of stuff to look for, I've just learned that what draws in my attention often is something that other people really like as well. And this is one of those, you've got kind of like the zombie cover. It's got this fun little like his and hers coffins that they're going to be, that they're pulling these people into. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just a cool cover. It's an interesting cover. Decided to pick this one up. So that was Mystic Comics number 27, and that's from Atlas. Then this one, this is actually this is from Atlas as well. I would actually call this a pre-code horror key. This is a pretty in-demand cover, and this is Astonishing number 8. And so you can see you've got this kind of this hand. It's almost it's got like claws almost on it as well. That's pushing this guy underwater, drowning this guy. You've got these lobsters down here for whatever reason, but then these skull figures in the back as well, and black covers. I've been talking about that a lot. Like, we've been seeing big sales for things that have black covers, especially ones that present well. You can see this one. I mean, yeah, you've got some spine ticks and that kind of stuff, but this is a pretty nice presenting copy of this book. I'm really happy with how this book looks. So yeah, Astonishing number 8. I have never owned this one before. Happy to have a chance to own this one. I'll have to check it out. This one I will probably end up sending in to get graded. I don't think I'm going to send in the Mystic 27. I'll have to think about it, but this one will likely end up going to get graded. I mean, this is a killer cover. But yeah, Astonishing number 8. That is kind of like a classic pre-code horror cover. All right, so now I've got this box here. This one has 3 slabs in it, and it has the 2 books that I was talking about. And I'm going to talk about couple related books as well for that. But this has one that is extremely rare. But the 2 books are actually that I'm talking about are not really rare books. I don't really like to recommend extremely rare books. I think that they're cool if you can find them, then that's great. But it's hard to say like, oh, I recommend this book that there's only 30 copies of out there in the world. It's like good luck trying to find that. But like the ones I like to recommend, they're Silver Age books. So I like to recommend things that are like silver, bronze. Now, it's good to know about those Golden Age books, like that Astonishing 8 or Mystic 27. It's good to know about those types of books so that when you see them, you go, oh, okay, that's that book. That's one I've been looking for. And so you know to kind of try to go after it. That's important knowledge if you are trying to get into Golden Age. But for like recommending for someone to try to pick up, you know, it's there's just not enough of them that are out there to really make it a fair recommendation. So let's see here. So I picked these books up from Heritage. See, that is a pretty regular theme with me. I buy a lot of stuff from Heritage. Let's see, there's one. Yep, there's the rare one, and then here's one of the books that I'd be recommending right now, and it's actually related to this one. You know, Fantastic Four 67, the one that I'm going to be giving away, and it is one issue earlier with Fantastic Four number 66. And so this is kind of the so 67 is the first cameo appearance of him. It's where you actually see the character in the book. This one it's like a cameo of a cameo almost for this one, but it's an 8.5, which is a pretty nice presenting copy of this book. I actually have one that I just sent out for pressing to get graded as well that also looked pretty nice. I thought it might hit an 8.5 as well, be around the same grade. And this is a character that I think this is going to be a big character in the MCU. If it's not, I think it's a huge wasted opportunity because that character has played some pretty major roles in Marvel over the years. And, you know, just with the ties to things like the Infinity Stones, how you can kind of link that back to phases 1 through 3 of the MCU, I think that this first appearance, or the appearances for Adam Warlock or him are books that had come down quite a bit and are ones that I would really be looking for. Actually, so you know, for me, it's like it's hard even just to give this one away because, you know, I think this is such a potential great future book, but I'm giving that one away. So I've got this one here, 66. I've got the raw one as well. If you're looking for another Silver Age key, you've got Thor 165. That one has come down pretty significantly. I would definitely be looking at that one because that's also the first cover. And then you've also got Marvel Premiere number 1, which is the first time he's named Adam Warlock, or first time he's named Warlock. I think he gets Adam in Marvel Premiere number 2, something like that. But those are all great books that have come down pretty significantly, and I would definitely be keeping an eye on. I think that they're going to be big in the MCU. So it's that one, and then the other one here. This one, it's characters that if you watched Swaglehouse Comics Mickey's video that he did on D23, this is one of the books he was talking about. He was actually recommending some other related books, not this one specifically, but this is Avengers number 85. And so this is the first appearance of the Squadron Supreme, but you've also got the Squadron Sinister, where their first cameo is in issue 69, and I'll throw pictures of these up there. And then their first full, I think they're like where they're on the cover, is issue 70. And so those were the two that he was actually talking about, because Avengers 69 is also the first appearance of the Grand Master, and there is talk that we might see him again in the MCU. And so I think that these books really haven't blown up that much yet. They have come up some, but they really haven't blown up, and I think that there's a pretty reasonable chance that we'll get these characters, that we might get Grandmaster back. And so I'd be looking for Avengers 69, 70, and then 85 if you get an opportunity to find them, maybe raw. They can be still pretty affordable. This is a really nice copy, a 9.2, off-white to white pages. I'll definitely take a close look at this one because it's not an old slab, but it is an older slab. And this one actually has something that's, I think is always useful to show when I'm talking about grading, is that this book has printer creases on it. And you can see that this is a 9.2, and it has 3 printer creases. Let's see if there's one down here, right here, and it's like, how long is it? This long here. So it's hard to, if you can see it. then there are 2 on the back. One that's right here. Let's see. One that's right here. And then one that is, I think there's one down here. It's a little lighter, maybe. A little lighter one right down here. And so printer creases do not affect the grade. I think that there are people that think that printer creases affect the grade, and then they might undergrade a book that has printer creases on it, but you can get 9/8 with printer creases. I've seen 9/8 with printer creases. This is a 9/2. If this was a crease that wasn't from printing, that wasn't from manufacturing, you would have a total of, let's see, down here you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of creases on this cover. This would maybe be a max like 6.5, if you even got that, if those were creases from damage to the book. But because they're manufacturing, they do not impact the grade, and so you can get higher grades like this. So just something that's important to know about, because if somebody doesn't know about that, they could be undergrading a book, and you can find deals on books with that. But yeah, Avengers 85, First Squadron Supreme, 9/2, really nice presenting copy of this book. 1971. This one is Bronze Age, it's early Bronze Age, but yeah, cool cover too. I've always really liked that cover. All right, now the last book from this box. I do have one more package though, and this one is from a run that I've put together a few of the issues from this run. This is an extremely difficult book to get. This is Suspense Comics #1. Now this is a 2.0, it's brittle pages. I've talked about in the Golden Age, I don't really care about page quality. I don't really care about page quality anyway, but especially in the Golden Age, and especially with a book that has 31 copies on the census. This is an extremely rare book. It's 1943. This is the run that it eventually goes to L.B. Cole covers in issue #4, and then it's all L.B. Cole covers after that. Issue #3 is a Alex Schomburg cover, one of the most in-demand Alex Schomburg covers, or covers in total from the entire Golden Age. But this isn't one. This is a Charles Quinlan cover. But the interesting thing is this cover looks almost identical to the Alex Schomburg cover in issue 3, except you can tell Alex Schomburg is a much better artist. Alex Schomburg's cover is like way like more detailed, and just everything that's going with it is just incredible with his cover. But it's the same basic like theme. You've got these Nazi villains that are basically going to torture this woman. In the Schomburg cover, the guy has a knife. In this one, he's got a brand. But then it's always this guy up on the top that's going to jump down to save her. Issue #4 is the same, the one with L.B. Cole. It's the guy on the top going to save this woman that's got these villains that are hooded villains basically that are trying to get her. But yeah, super rare book. And I have a few other books from that run. I have issue #4, but it's a raw, and I don't have it here with me. But then I also have issue #8, which is one of these classic L.B. Cole covers where you've got this creepy spider guy on the cover. So you've got issue #8, and this one has become a really big book recently. Just very in-demand book. Then I have issue #9, which was on my keepers list, but I have cut it recently. It was not an easy decision for me to make, but I decided to cut this one. I do really like this cover. I think this is such a cool cover with the... there's another one that's similar later on that he does, but I like how this one has the pattern in the eye as well. So I think it's such a cool cover. So this is issue #9. And then my personal favorite from the run, other than Suspense Comics #3, is this one here, which is issue #11, which is this classic L.B. Cole Devil cover. He uses the same character a couple other times. He uses it in Mass Comics #2, which is an incredible book as well. But yeah, so those are some of the Suspense Comics books that I currently have. But yeah, this one, super rare book. Like I said, 31 copies on the census, and I felt like it was just a great deal, and you never really see these books come up for sale. And so I felt like it was a great opportunity to be able to pick this one up. And you can see L.B. Cole was actually working on the interior art up here. I believe he worked on the interior art for everything. It's just he switched to the cover, actually doing the covers in issue #4. All right, so now down to the last package here. And this one has a few more books in it. These are all raw. I think this one has maybe 4 or 5 in this one. I think it's 1 Silver Age and then 3 or 4 Golden Age books. Yeah, and that's why I thought this video would be kind of cool, because it's just, I've got such a big mix of different Golden Age genres in this one. So 5 books. Yeah, so there is the Silver Age. All right, and then I've got, yeah, just a lot of genres, a lot of different types of different artists and cover content. So the first one here, this is a pretty rare book. You don't see this one come up very often. This is True to Life Romances number 11. And this is another LB Cole cover. You can tell it's LB Cole, but I feel like his detail that he put into this cover is better than a lot of the other romance type covers that I see from him. Just, I don't know, there's something about how he drew the women on the cover. It almost has a little bit of like a Matt Baker type feel, especially with the hair. And so I felt like this cover was just very appealing. It's a lower grade book. It's got a little chip out of the corner there and everything, but presents really, really well. And the fireplace and everything, just the colors on here just look really, really nice. So yeah, I thought this was a cool one to be able to pick up, because 1, you just don't see it very often, and 2, that one, I like the way LB Cole drew that cover. All right, this next one, this is a pretty early World War II themed cover. This is Rangers Comics number 13. So you can see you've got the Nazi soldier here grabbing the woman. The Rangers Comics, generally it's like good girl art type covers, but with war themes, and then soldiers going in to, try to save the woman. And so in this case, you've got this Nazi soldier. This guy is throwing a knife at over here. It's definitely a lower grade copy. You can see that somebody drew inside the Rangers here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's detached. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's detached, because you can see it's like torn right there at the staple. So I think this one's detached, but I mean, in terms of presentation, the presentation and colors and everything on this one are really, really nice. And I mean, these early Rangers comics, they are tough. They are very tough to come by. I don't know, I can't remember the last time I've seen this issue actually come up for sale. I have a Rangers Comics 14 that is just one of the craziest covers I have ever come across for a World War II cover. It's this one right here. This is CBCS 40. This is a slightly brittle copy, but presents really well. But I mean, this cover is nuts. Like the detail they put into it with this, whatever this thing is that they've got this woman hooked up to, that this guy's going to do the beheading. Got her, they've got her hair bolted down. It's nuts. This cover is crazy. I remember the first time I saw this one, I was like, that is a creepy level of detail that they put into that cover. But yeah, Rangers Comics 14, just one issue after that one, is one of the. It's a pretty big book in that run. Then let's jump to Silver Age here, and this is Amazing Spider-Man number 25, and this is the first cameo of Mary Jane. So I think the first time you actually hear about her is in issue 15. I think it's in the issue with First Craven, but this one she's behind a plant. It's actually, I think, let's see if I can find the panel for that. All right. All right, so here it is. And so this is that first cameo of her. It's that panel down there. She's the one in the yellow dress. It says, Mary Jane, this is Betty Brant, and this is Liz Allen. Girls, I'd like you to meet Mary Jane Watson. She just popped in to visit my nephew. And so that's her behind the, that flower, that plant. And so that's the first, this is the first time that you have this cameo of her. That's one of the big issues with Mary Jane's appearances and the values of her books, is that they're split between so many different books that it just, I think it spreads out the value of it, and so it kind of hurts a little bit. But This is Spider-Man number 25. It's pretty early Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man. It's a cool cover, nice presenting copy, and you've got that first cameo, Mary Jane Watson in there. All right, next one. This cover always makes me laugh. This is another one of these runs that's kind of like the Good Girl Art war type covers, and this is Wings Comics number 82. And so this, you can see it's got the Good Girl Art on there, but you've got like this guy. It's just he is like the worst drawn character. I mean, it's a Bob Lubbers cover, and I think he did a fine job with the woman. You know, she looks believable as like a person. I don't know what it is about that guy. It looks like, to me, that looks like what Lou Fine, like a lot of his characters look like. I mean, I know some people love Lou Fine, and he has some good covers, but I can't stand how he draws a lot of characters. They look like children drew them to me, and that's how this one feels to me, the way that guy looks. And so I just always think this cover is really funny. This is a pretty nice condition copy of this book. You can see, you know, there's not a lot of wear. There's definitely some light creasing along the spine and some spine ticks at the staples, that kind of thing. I'd say it's probably like a 5.0. Maybe it pulls a 5.5, probably around a 5.0. But yeah, nice bright copy of this book for 1947. So thought that was a cool one. And then the last one here, close it out with a pre-code horror book, again from Atlas. A number of Atlas books in this unboxing, and this is Adventures into Terror number 13. And I thought that the skull hands or the skeleton hands were really cool. You have this skull in the back here. You've got the woman on the front in the red dress, and I just thought it was a cool cover. This is from 1952, so again, pre-code horror. And Atlas is, if you're looking for books that still haven't quite blown up yet, but I think have a decent chance to, I think Atlas Pre-Code Horror is definitely a place to check out, because they have some really incredible covers, some really great artists, and they really there's some that have obviously gotten more expensive, but there are others that I think are just flying under the radar right now. And so I think Atlas Comics, which is the precursor to Marvel, it went timely. Atlas Marvel, I think, is something that's really worth checking out. But yeah, Adventures into Terror number 13. So that's all the books, quite a few in this unboxing. I wanted to try to open a bunch of stuff at once, kind of get it all taken care of. I hope you enjoyed this video, saw some really cool books, some rare stuff in there, like that Suspense Comics number 1. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.